Hello. Did I sound like Cher there for a second? I never did that. Sorry.
Gypsies, tramps, and thieves.
There you go.
Ooh, can I be the tramp?
I'll be the thief.
Okay.
No, I'm the gypsy. I'm the one that's lived in 11 states. I'm the gypsy. Okay. I got it.
There we go. Gypsies, tramps, and thieves. You know, this is brought to you by. Welcome everybody to Working Towards Wellbeing, a Laugh and Learn. And this is me and Betsy Palmer all the way over there. Mm-hmm. And then we have Jaime, Wandering Mountain Bardic Path. I need to figure that out. I'm your host, Tarot Stash, which here you go. I'm your host, Tarot Stash. And everybody, please like and subscribe. Blah blah blah. Do all that. This is for
Ben wants to be sunny. Of course.
This is for inspirational and educational purposes only, as well as entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really?
Please.
Really?
Okay, you're totally worth asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have these available, Jaime, if we need them. Potty mouth and beep.
Sure.
We need it. So and but yeah. So anyhow, how are both of you?
Fabulous.
Okay. I'm grand. All the better for being with the two of you. So there, if I'm honest.
Woot.
Cannot tell a lie. Let's say hi to some people. Viviani's here. Carol, genealogy junkie. Teresa.
Betsy and I are in sync with everything. It's like
okay, I'll
there you go. Plucky Heroine is here.
I love your name. I love your screen name. It is the best screen name I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Beth is here. Beth is doing what I like. Hi to all in chat. That's perfect. Oh, and we have Purple Elephant Deb H, who, this is the plug, is going to be on my show on Monday.
My
show. Really
big show.
That's exactly. There you go. You got it.
We're in sync. And this is the Ethics of Reading Part 2. And we're taking that to the next level, and so we'll have everybody still asking to participate, because that's important. So and all right, and Scorpio Mama is here. Hello. And
lots of people.
Oh yeah, share. You believe in life after love. Yep.
And then I hear the echo, after love. Yeah.
Yep. And Kindness and Light, whose real name, this is the new channel name, and I cannot remember. I should know that. Sorry.
Let us know.
Peter J. Watts is here. Peter J. Watts will be on my channel the end of April with Jaime. And we are going to be talking about, we're doing a book casual. We're talking about his new book.
Mm-hmm. He's a real life published author.
He's a published author.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ben does want to be sunny. I mean, I think you're tall enough, aren't you?
The beat goes on, baby.
There you
You're
go.
tall enough. He was short.
Oh. How tall are you, anyhow?
No, Sunny was short.
Sunny was very short, yes.
Cher
Jonathan is here. Hello, Jonathan.
Aloha.
Hello. There we go. We got that. We've got, now we're getting all of the Cher references. So, love that. And
snap out of it.
Arlene is here. Hi, Arlene. Linda de Gonzalez. Thank you. And Beth, I found someone.
Lord.
This is just going to go on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just getting caught up because I don't want to take too much time. Coyote the Gray is here. Good to see you, Coyote. I am imagining Coyote is work lurking. Maruda is here. Hello. And Kathy, Tortoiseshell Moon. Love it.
Like Jamie and I, we were princesses and we used to ride through the street in a carriage in our former lifetime.
Uh-huh. Synchronizing our waves.
Synchronizing the waves. Okay, so lots of lovely people. And I have to, yes?
Can I answer a question that Beth asked us the last time we were live and we like cut off before we answered her? Can I answer it?
Yes. Oh, it's Lisa Rhodes. Lisa Rhodes, Kindness and Light.
Oh, hi. Hey, Lisa.
Hi. Good to see you. All right, answer Beth's question.
Beth, you asked me how I was liking the monsoon. And I love the monsoon still. So I still recommend it. I still think you should do
actual monsoon or what monsoon?
No, it's the Monsoon Tarot.
Monsoon Tarot. Oh, wait. So is it all cups?
No. No, but it's beautiful. It's a good question. No.
Well, and I want to say you got Beth gave you a heads up. One of the best share references, Betsy. Love me some Nicolas Cage. You know, I saw that on a date. I think that was my official first gay date.
That's a good first date movie.
And the guy was Italian, and we came home, and he made me pasta.
Nice. I gotta say, my favorite Nicolas Cage movie is still Valley Girl.
Mine is too. Mine is too.
Yep.
I want to go back to the whole. He made you pasta, so he made you noodly, or he made you food pasta.
He made me food pasta. Very simple, garlic and butter. That's all I'll say about that.
Yep, right, Beth. That's how I heard it. I tell you what, I wanted to say something and I stopped myself. That's progress.
So I couldn't help it.
I wanted to say something.
Jonathan backed the Monsoon Tarot on Kickstarter and would love to chat about it, Jamie. I did not back the Monsoon Tarot. So
yeah, I love it.
So
my other favorite Nicolas Cage movie is the one with Sam Rockwell. I think it's Tin Men. It's about con artists. Oh, it's really good. I'll have to figure that out. I'll look up the name.
Yeah, Valley Girl is still just right up there at the top.
There you go. So today we're talking about, I actually have a banner for this. So everybody be respectful in chat. We're sharing our personal experiences. And the last time that the three of us were together, we were having a really wonderful conversation backstage. And the idea of now what came up is when we are doing our work, now what do we do? How do we approach it when we are doing our work? And for those of you who are following, I'm saying our work. Whatever work is that you need to do, it's your work. It's neither good nor bad. It just is what it is. And so we're sort of looking at this as how to stay focused when things get muddy. It's like the idea of our favorite practices, things that I think, what was the fancy schmancy way? Was it tactics of progression that you said, Jamie?
Yep. That's what I call it.
So, and essentially this, hang on, I'm going to take a sip. What do you all have in your cup?
French toast.
Oh, oh, I'm jealous. I have Roast Aroma Celestial Seasonings tea.
Nice.
Ooh, okay. I like that. All right.
Oh, I found the movie, guys. Let me get it out of the way. Won't have to mention it again. Oh, shoots. Matchstick Men.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Okay.
That's a great movie.
Awesome. Jonathan said he feels like he's starting to look like Pedro with his mustache.
From The Mandalorian.
Things could be worse.
Could be.
No, Ben, I've not seen The Mandalorian. Judge me all you want.
Or Valley Girl, or Matchstick Men. Or...
I have seen Valley Girl. Hello.
Oh, all right.
Like, oh my God.
I should faint if except,
Sure.
except for if I did, I would harm things that are on the floor right now.
Oh, there you go. Irish coffee and chocolate coffee and Irish breakfast tea. Irish cream.
Irish cream and chocolate coffee. Oh my God. That sounds so good.
I'm not going to mention chocolate orange coffee at all. I would never do that in a public setting. But I just want you to know, Bones Coffee, you're lucky. Okay? You're lucky. It's okay. Come for me. Pick it up.
Well, they can come for me. That's okay. They can come for me because I got a lot to tell them.
There you go. So, okay. So when things get muddy, when we're doing our work or when we're starting a project, and we're all doing different projects. I'm studying a couple of different decks. I'm reading some books and I'm reading them with intentions. And now with spring here in the Northern Hemisphere, I actually did go outside. If Candy, Stolen Soil, is watching this, I actually did go outside and I filmed a little bit of my fairy garden before and after the first pulls. So
will you read what Kathy has to say really quick before we get rolling?
What do you mean by things getting muddy? Like brain fog? That Kathy, that is not a dumb question. That is not a dumb question. What do you think? What does that mean for each of you? We'll do that. I'll open it up for both of you.
Gypsy, I'll take it. Things get muddy. I get confused, or I am trying to ask a question and I don't even know what the question is. I'm feeling like I'm not getting it. There's something that resonates, but I'm not getting that nugget in there yet. That for me is what muddy is, or in a situation that goes south pretty quickly. That's also when things get muddy for me.
Right. So the tramp. For me, if you heard Gerald at the beginning, he said, Jamie, what do you call it? The fancy smancy, whatever I came up with. I had a dream and it was this big old long drawn out thing, but tactics and progression for me is what I call it. In other words, when I go down in a hole and I'm having a hard time getting up above the soil to figure out what direction my roots should be going in, if they should be traveling this way, if they need to connect that way, what tactics, what techniques, what things do I do for myself to keep from being buried, basically.
Yeah.
And you?
Beth said, muddy to me is hard to get through. The opposite of clear water where everything is easy. And hi, Wendy. See, Wendy is here. And I think for me, I'm the thief. I'm the thieves. All of my personalities. And in fact, actually, this is a really good thing. If I'm the thief, muddy is what takes me away. It rids my joy. It removes the joy of what I'm working on. I get too close to it, and I have forgotten the reason I started the thing. Because I love the idea of there's joy in work. There's joy in everything. And for me, it's whatever passion. I can be passionate in doing really, really hard work. it's still joyful. It still feeds me. Muddy is when I'm no longer being fed by the work that I'm trying to do.
That's good.
And I would like to throw something else in there too, is if you're someone who is an overthinker, anxiety prone, or some kind of a sadness prone, I consider that part of the muddy thing too.
Sure, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I always, when I overthink, I overcomplicate it. And I stall. I get frozen. I get caught up. Okay, snort, Gerald, but I get scared when I get muddy because the first thought is Alzheimer's. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I am stuck in the muck. Muddy is, oh, wait a minute. Muddy is definitely makes you feel heavier. That's a nice way to say it.
Mhm.
Bogged down. Oh, well, thank you. And Deb H says, it feels muddy to me when it's too much like work, if I'm not enjoying it or at least gaining contentment. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. And I imagine, Kathy, when you think about this, I think it's the reason that I want to have this conversation is because it goes to that idea of is we need to recognize what's going on. And the sooner we can recognize, ooh, it's muddy, then we can do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very much an overthinker, hate it. See, I think okay, Wendy, and I will say, if the overthinking stops you from doing things, then it's a problem. However, I like overthinkers. And okay, let me reframe this because Jaime, I know we're going to talk about it's important to how we say things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am fortunate that Jeffrey is a thorough thinker.
Mm.
He's extremely thorough. And I was listening to something recently where a person said it was a radio broadcast or a book. And somebody says, you want people who are overthinkers because they've thought of every scenario. They're ready for it. So I like that idea of it, it's thorough thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agreed.
Sometimes muddy is like the swamp of sadness in the never-ending story, Complete Sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever somebody asked for a definition, it helps everyone do it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kathy, over for the win, Kathy. You get 2 points. Jonathan said I'm an overthinker for sure. I can definitely be an overthinker. And so, but when things get muddy, okay, I'm going to stop for a second. What are the two of you thinking?
For me, it comes down to being confused a lot. When I'm feeling when things get muddy, I can simplify it frequently to confusion, because in my overthinking, I will jump to a place of what did I do wrong? I did something wrong. And then I stop and I mentally retrace my steps. And I'm like thinking, no, this is old tapes and old coping mechanisms that are coming into play here and confusing what's really going on.
Yeah.
And if I can disarm my no longer serving me coping mechanisms, then I can come back to a center a little more effectively. I'm not going to say it's like some magic wand, because that's a disservice to everyone. But yes, if I can recognize when I am going into a default setting, and that is adding to confusion, that benefits me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I would imagine, and by the way, you know, I'm not licensed to do anything other than the drive in the state in which I live. I would imagine that you recognizing what's going on, you're doing it sooner rather than you were 5-10 years ago, maybe a week ago.
Yes.
And that's an important thing. I think that's we have to recognize, okay, it's all perspective, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, and because I'm a firm believer, if I can name something, I can change it. I can control it. I can make it do something different.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I like recognition when you recognize, you know.
Yeah.
Because it takes the power away, I think, when you say, okay, I know what I'm doing. I need to choose a step in a different direction.
Yeah. So one of my favorite tools, and Jamie and I had a conversation about this, is, you know, I want to recognize what I'm feeling, whatever it is I'm feeling. I can be sad, I can be angry, whatever. Years of therapy have given me that. And you know, when people, sometimes they're being helpful and they say, oh, you know, it's not that bad and all that stuff, you know, that's if I actually if you could see behind this little piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
a tiny finger that looked like that, you know, because I have to recognize where I am. And if I'm angry, you know, sometimes I will have people who care about me say, okay, you're angry. What do you need to do? What can I do to help? And I'm like, going, nothing, because I just want to be angry right now. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to maximize angry. I'm going to be totally angry, and I'm going to do it really, really well.
And what do I say to you?
Well, you pat me on the head and you go, well, okay, I'll be over here when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And to that, and this is where, when you find people like this in your life, appreciate them, because they genuinely mean it. Is that, okay, you go do what you need to do. I'll be here when you're done.
And I'm going to add to that, okay?
Please.
So, and this, again, is personal opinion. It's not directed at anyone but myself and maybe the two people I'm sitting with, because we've conversed, right?
Yes.
So when you hit that point, and I am not saying that I am the only person who has ever lost multiple people in a row. I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying that it's part of the story, right? It's not who I am. It's just part of the story. So I've had a lot of loss in the last 5 years. It is easier to get stuck in the story and get stuck in the wallowing. And again, my words are directed at no one but myself. So if anybody out there takes this personally, you can fuck off, because it's not my problem. It is solely directed at me.
Yeah, it's just
Jamie. You can get stuck in the wallow, right? And so if it's Gerald and he is stuck, I'm going to say, okay, do your thing, but do me a favor. Put your big pants on and pull yourself out when you get there. And if you need help pulling on your pants, let me know.
There you go.
Right?
Yes.
I think honoring someone's space, validating their right to experience where they are in that moment, and honoring people that is respectful. Because I think trying to talk someone, convince someone out of the space with that, it's disrespectful to a whole individual. And ignoring something is not a healing thing. Allowing somebody to be in the space where they are in that moment is, I think, empowering.
Yeah, I think the only time that I take umbrage with it is if you're going out there and you're putting yourself on blast about what you're going through, right? But you're not willing to hear what someone else uses as a technique to help themselves. They're not saying that you have to.
Yeah.
They're just saying, hey, this is what I've done. And then it turns into a whole big conversation about how somebody's being toxic because they're not recognizing how that person feels. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes that blasting, that putting themselves on the public platform is a way to reinforce their own feelings as a victim sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their racket, and that's where they are. And, you know.
Yeah, and it can discount that individual's feelings. And I think it is one of those things that this is one of those things that it's hard.
Life ain't easy.
Life ain't easy. And there are the opportunities for us to learn and grow.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully, I mean, sometimes people don't have people like we do, right?
True.
I mean, and so I have a recognition of that, and I understand that. And I don't know where I'm going to go with that, other than I understand that sometimes people don't have what we are blessed enough to have.
Well, I have found myself in the majority of my life not having someone to go to, that confidant that understands me where I am.
Me too.
And so I have learned over time that I need to rely on myself to do a lot of the work. So for me, and plus I don't know how to ask for help either, because I wasn't supported in that in my formative years, asking for help. So I've always felt like I needed to figure it out on my own. So I've learned how to seek professional help, and I have learned how to discern what's going to work for me. But I find myself, when I am in the muddy spot, the number one thing I want to do is go into quiet contemplation. And I want to sit with it and experience it. And as time goes by, experiencing whatever pain I'm feeling or confusion, and just allowing that to sit there, because it seems like the lid comes off that pot much more quickly over time, and the contents reveal itself. And in those contents, it's not something frightening. It's not something scary. It's not something that really stops me. So, would it be, I've had confidants, I've had friends and confidants in the past, but I can't, for me, it wasn't that productive because I wasn't very healthy. I tended to do just a lot of a twirl. And like you were saying, Jamie, about the person that blasts and puts it out there and just wants to tell their story over and over again and doesn't want to move from that spot. I did that a lot when I was younger. Yeah.
And let me give a disclaimer. And we say this all the time, especially Gerald and I, when we're doing the back and forth stuff. I am not perfect. I don't have it all figured out. I am a person putting one foot in front of the fucking other.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing. That's why this is for entertainment purposes only. We are not healthcare professionals,
right?
At least for humans. And, so yeah, I don't claim to know it all. I have, But
yeah.
I like the whole contemplation thing. I think all three of us do that at varying points.
I think we do. And it is one of those things that there have been some, I want to pause for a second and get caught up, because I've been starring the heck out of a lot of comments.
Sure.
Because you in chat are bringing so much value to this conversation. And the fact that you're doing this, actually, I'll be honest with you, it makes me a little teary-eyed, because it gives me hope that more people are trying to do the work. And because the more people who do the work, I think that has a strong ripple effect. Because if we do it and we share that we're doing the work, then others may get inspired. I learn from example.
And can I poke in there really quick before you get caught up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because the thoughts there. So when you were talking about sometimes you just want to sit in your mad, and then I'm just going to use myself as an example. I say, is there something I can do? Do you want me? Is there something, whatever? And you say, no, I want to be pissed for a minute.
Yep.
And you've never said, leave me the fuck alone, but you've given that vibe of just like, talk to me about something else. I don't want to talk about this. That I personally think that that's healthy in that you're recognizing that you're not ready to move on from that moment.
Yep.
But you also know that you don't stay in that moment too long, because that in and of itself is not healthy for you.
Yes. Actually, it was a therapist. I had a friend who was
same here.
Supporting me, and she was supporting me in such a good way. It was making me uncomfortable because it was forcing me out of the mud.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't quite ready to be out of the mud.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my therapist this, and she said, this is the kind of friend that I want, because, and somebody else saying exactly what you just said is it's like, holy shit. Okay. I value this person even more because of that. Okay. So starred comments, which I now have 20, and whip through them. Vanessa is here. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa.
And Plucky Heroine said, compulsive planner.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that that's good so long as it doesn't stop you from doing things.
Right.
Including if aliens take over the earth, will I still be able to pay my rent? LOL. Exactly. But on the other hand, can we really rule that out? And therein lies another example of an important thing of, if I lose my sense of humor, you know that I am in real trouble.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't laugh at myself, if I can't giggle, it's like, ooh. So very analytical. I love being analytical. And Candy Soul and Soil is here. And Candy, I mentioned you earlier because I actually took 2 videos of what I'm working on in my fairy garden. Yep. Spiraling down the rabbit hole. Okay. Putting the name on something is empowering. That's the one reason children are so vulnerable. They don't have the vocabulary. And I would even say some adults, Beth, don't have the vocabulary, because you've seen those great circles of like emotions,
mm-hmm.
And it's like anger can show is actually, it may be disappointment, and it's not anger. It's just like, holy crap, it's incredible.
Well, I mean, we can use Betsy if she wants to be in the hot seat for a second. We can use Betsy just by her own words with that particular comment, in that, and myself, honestly, but in that, Betsy didn't have certain things in her toolbox when she was growing up.
True.
But she has the recognition now and the wisdom now,
That's powerful. And that's growth.
Mm-hmm.
That's growth.
Yeah. And to, also to know that even though I have learned a lot of how to bring happiness to my own life on my own, I didn't do it single-handedly. I needed a lot of help, whether I could ask for it or not. Sometimes the universe would deposit it right in front of me. And I believe that's divinely guided to help me through situations. But also to know that when things are muddy, if you could logic your way out of it, our world would look really different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't believe you can always logic your way out of things. And for me, I just want to add this in because we haven't touched on it yet, and I'm sure we will, but following my spiritual practice on the daily is a big part of me working through all this stuff.
Great.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody being here and following along. I agree. This is an important conversation. Kathy said, I sometimes get oversaturated, especially with tarot. So I need to down tools, change the scene, and come back to it later.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I love that, because when I get inundated with a lot of magical work, spiritual work, a lot of information, I have to take a nap, because I have to, I mean, and this is my thing. You know, I have some, you know, my high priestess has given me some amazing readings, and I go home and I take a nap. It could be a 20-minute nap, it could be a 2-hour nap, but I wake up and everything is sorted out for me. That works for me.
Mhm.
Other people may need to go out and run, to garden, to sit out and have coffee. But I think that's so important. And Arlene said, when I overthink, I don't make a discussion or don't make a decision and do nothing. I
Yeah.
think that's what you mean. Yep.
Yeah. Confusion. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Confusion. I call it the twirl.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Deb H, yes, I only allow myself so much wallowing, and then it's time to get up and do the thing.
Mhm.
Well, and it's like, Jamie, it's like what you were talking about, the idea of you know, if you ask somebody what they need,
Mhm.
I don't know what I need is an acceptable answer,
Mhm.
because suddenly you've given voice to something, and then that person can go, okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, and go, have a glass of water, you know, and then, or reframe it, because if we're overthinking, if I'm in the mud, there's too many options, and people can, you know, Jeffrey will sometimes help me, or I will help him and say, okay, would you like to go get dinner at such and such a place, or such and such a place? And that's helpful. And Beth said, this is why Buddhism helps me. It helps me put the story in perspective and realize I can observe the story, and it's not me. Yes. Yes.
And there was something popping into my head about resistance. You know, sometimes when we're in that muddy space or in that twirl, we can be resisting something. Is it resisting accepting something, or is it resistant to doing something? And in those times, I find I have to ask myself if I'm being honest.
Mm.
And
A lot of-
sometimes,
Yeah.
sorry, no, go ahead. I was just going to add to it. Go ahead.
No,
Finish.
go.
Well, sometimes the honesty is not necessarily resistance, but that you're not ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. If somebody's asking you to do something and you're trying to figure out a way to worm your way out of it, you know, where's the dishonesty in there? What do you really want?
Mhm.
And if I'm resisting something within myself, why? What am I afraid of looking at? So questioning is awesome.
Mhm.
Questioning is awesome. And I do a lot of journaling with all that stuff too. Get it out of my head and onto paper. That has been such a huge tool for me throughout my entire life. My mom started me on journaling, I think when I was about 16 or 17. She was friends with Shakti Gawain, the author of Creative Visualization.
Mhm.
And so she started encouraging me to journal. And I didn't really understand it a lot at that time, and it's evolved over the years, but it's been a really powerful tool for me. If nothing else, just to empty out the head, get it out of my head and somewhere else.
Yeah, my mom started me with journaling, and it's funny, when she died, my best friend gave me a journal, and at this time, 5 years ago, it was a new process, making paper out of stone, right?
Mhm.
And so this notebook is stone paper. And so the kind of thing was, when she gave me this journal, and she kept one for herself, we looked at each other, and I'm like, well, what do you write in stone? And so I decided to write letters to my mother, because there was a lot that went into her dying that is still going on. that you know, putting things down on stone in a metaphorical sense had a bigger impact for me, right? And not to be too personal, but the other day I was pretty pissed off at her because of a certain situation. And I got that book out, and all I could write, I wrote the date, and all I could write was why. Why? Just tell me fucking why. I will never have an answer. However,
Never say never.
putting it onto paper, yeah, no, I know. Putting it onto paper kind of takes the dreck out, right?
Frees up some space.
Yeah, that is so powerful. I am trying to I am starring things, so
How about we do this, Gerald? We see you. We see you. We're not trying to ignore you.
yeah, we see you. We see you, and they're so good. And Candy said I use art to observe and traverse the story.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
That's really powerful. And then
Absolutely,
Kathy said sometimes it's easy to repeat patterns and habits.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's familiar. Sometimes I sometimes catch myself and remind myself that it hasn't helped in the past. Changing mind patterns is not easy, though. No,
it's safe. It's safe and learned behavior, right?
And there's also a lot of help available for changing patterns. There's a lot of really effective techniques out there in the world that are not that hard to access. They're not hard to resource.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in going out and getting it.
Yeah.
And Beth said, my tarot practice is crucial to my spiritual practice and my spell work. It's been a big help to me psychologically for many years.
We're getting there, Beth.
Yeah.
And okay, this is
Lisa.
Thank you. I was going to say, I kept wanting to say Lisa, and I'm not purely sure. Jaime, I do it in my dreams and confront my mother.
Yeah.
Pia's life is here. Hello.
Well, not that anybody would know a medium that could take the question to your mom.
Yeah. I know.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't want the answer. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
And that is legit.
Yeah.
That's legit.
It's really interesting to hear sometimes the answers are not at all what you think.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
And Purple Elephant Deb H said, just being able to listen without offering a solutions is sometimes valuable.
Mhm.
I think it's crucial.
crucial. Yeah.
Yes, that word. It's crucial to helping because, I mean, especially when, and sometimes I know, and Jeffrey does this for me, and Jaime, you've done this for me. Are you looking for a problem solver or are you looking for an ear?
Mm-hmm.
You tell me what you want and I can do it.
Right.
So,
Right.
and Linda said, I've been cutting out toxic people in my life over the past 3-ish years. I have exactly 3 friends left from a group of 15-ish, but I can trust these people with my life, my money, my birds. Yes. And how are Richie and Gerald? Linda has some new budgies.
Nice.
Vanessa said, this conversation is resonating with me as I just told certain family members that I'm dealing with myself right now after coming home from a doctor's appointment, and as they only make me feel worse.
Poop.
I'm glad you're here.
The family members or the doctors or both. Yes. I would totally understand all of that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a quick comment. Maruta said, sometimes the answer just makes you matter. And I would like to share that this is not my experience as a medium. When people have a question that they have been unanswered and they need closure from a loved one that's deceased, that has not been my experience.
Well, and so right underneath that, so Beth, I will answer you honestly. Do you want the journey to find the answer? I am on the journey to find the answer. What I'm not ready for is that lady right there. because I'm not that far along. Even though it's been 5 years, there's still so much happening that I need to process all of the things happening first and sit in my corner and get pissed off every once in a while. Then I will have an honest conversation with Betsy and say, okay, let's open up the channel and see what we get.
And I would say this is a prime example of ethics of reading. Betsy is going to wait for Jaime to be ready to ask the question.
Yeah.
She's not going to push it off.
Correct.
And Vanessa said it's the family member.
I understand that. I high five, sister. I get it.
Yep. And yeah, you're gotten a heart from Candy.
Love you, Candy.
And Linda said, oh, they're having a great time right now. They got banana this morning and are fighting over it. And Geraldine is hogging the food dish right now. But Richie is lurking and grabs her chance to get the treat. So there you go.
When I was a kid, my mom brought a cockatiel into the house that loved to chew the woodwork on the frames of the windows, decorative woodwork. So she decided to deter the cockatiel. She would put hot sauce on said windows. Guess what? Birds love hot sauce.
They sure do. A lot of them are from like in Argentina and places like that. And they're used to extreme colds and extreme heat and spice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. It is a good conversation. Thank you. And Purple Elephant Deb H said, meeting someone where they are is a powerful tool. It is so powerful. So powerful. And yes, Candy did acknowledge that I started my fairy garden.
Cool.
Maruda said, anger is caused by pain. It's important to identify the source of that pain and address it. Yes. And anger can also be fear being expressed. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. Also boundaries stomping. Yeah, boundaries. So, and is fear anticipated pain? Maybe. I mean, these are deep questions. You have to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
For me, sometimes the pain is having to admit the truth about myself.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, the pain is admitting what's really under there. And that's usually, for me, what I uncover is shame and humiliation. And those are old tapes. And so I've learned how to unpack that. There's a lot of tools. So I've learned how to unpack a lot of that for myself. Yeah. And Buddhism, like somebody popped in, was it Beth, talking about Buddhism? The concepts of being the observer. I find that really helpful. And not the story. But I get a lot of spirit guide help too, because one day, and it was over the summer, they just told me, today's the day. They woke me up and it's like, today's the day you get to choose. You can live in the moment now, and you can just completely divorce yourself from your personal history. And I was like, well, shit. Yeah, I want that. Now, is it like an instantaneous amnesia? No, but I don't identify with those feelings anymore. A memory may come up, but it doesn't identify. I don't identify that as myself anymore. I identify that as a situation that is not me anymore. I don't know how to explain that any better, but I'm pretty lucky that way. I'm really lucky that way.
Yeah.
So it's true, Beth. Do we want to talk about what's one thing that we do to help? Yes.
And Maruda, I see what you said. And, I'm so sorry. It's fucking awful. So, and, yeah.
Wait, I didn't get to read the end of it. I missed that. What was that?
Then here you go. I'll put it back up.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, I've got your Pia's life. I have your question done or highlighted. Jaime, what are the tools? What are the things that you do?
What my do-dos?
What do you do?
So everything, well, not everything. We've kind of touched on the quiet contemplation part, and the writing part. I keep a gratitude journal, which is always handy, and right here because it helps me remember, and helps pull me up out of the dreck. I have dealt with depression most of my life. So I have been in therapy, and I'm okay saying that. And it gave me a lot of tools, but I also had a very, even though she makes me angry, I did have a very brilliant and smart mother who took, I was going to say drug her kids around, but people could misinterpret that, but took her kids around with her to third world countries in which she was trying to do good. And these were countries in which it was before we had the words, terrorism and, things like that, that her children ended up with damage. Okay. Having to navigate, societies that are different and traumatic events, right? So she gave us tools, psychological tools that I still use to this day, in which I had a therapist say, my goodness, you sure can compartmentalize.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. So I do the gratitude because while life may not be rosy on that day, I can still look outside and I can find things. I can still stick my feet in the dirt and I can find things to gratify myself that make the clouds dispel.
And I want to ask I'm not asking for specifics. And I probably know the answer to this, but what types of things are you putting in there for your gratitude journal? Are they the huge things? Are they small things? Are they in between? What are they?
So I will tell you, I have headers. So there is one line that's just straight ass gratitude, something that you're thankful for. And then I say I have a column that's always remember. So one of the things is you must believe in you. Actions and intention need to match. Right. So always remember, that's something back from December. And then I have a column that's always believe. And one of the things is I'm going to say the euphemistic you always have to believe in yourself and know that you are enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I have a column that's titled The Wonder of It All. So what do I find? One of the things in December was the twinkle and the intelligence in Rumor's eyes. And that's my dog. So I have specific categories. Never forget, always believe, the wonder of it all, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I love the way that you have created that. I would like to have a copy of that.
Yeah. And compartmentalizing can be helpful at times. Just remember to come back to it.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, and for me, I compartmentalize. That is my nature. And I have learned that by compartmentalizing myself, I'm actually lessening my power. I am distributing my resources so that I'm not fully engaged. Mm-hmm. So, and Michelle Marie is here, Astrological Tarot. Just, I think, just got home from the dentist. If I had, I don't have. Yeah, we all go.
So what else? What, Betsy? What do you do?
Pia's life said tapping is a wonderful resource.
Mm-hmm.
for you. Yes.
Yeah.
What are some of the tools that you use, Betsy? Is that what you're saying, Jaime?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, a lot of the similar things. Grounding for me is essential. Grounding, centering, and setting my boundaries, because I'm sensitive. I'm an empath. So grounding, centering, setting my boundaries. When I'm feeling freaked out, asking, does this belong to me? Yesterday, I noticed in the morning my heart rate was bounding. And so my first thing is not what's wrong, is what is going on? Does this belong to me? What do I need to know right now about this? Talk through it, got it, heart rate went back down. Yes, gratitude. There's a lot of things to be grateful for. For me, it is mostly about the universe that is present in every aspect of my life and how grateful I am in that. Quiet contemplation, co-creating, my role as a co-creator. What do I want the world to reflect to me? And setting goals for myself, small goals, long-term goals. I never saw myself as a goals person because I thought of it in third dimensional terms, but now I think of it in spirituality terms. Where do I want to see myself spiritually today, tomorrow, a year from now, 5 years from now? I walk through this quite a bit. At moon time, mostly new moon. I'm a big person to work with new moons. Exercise is helpful for me. I get a lot out of moving the body and moving that energy through me, and doing my magic. If I'm not practicing doing what I do as a psychic medium channel, I become kind of sad. I don't want to call it depressed, but it feels like I'm not fully expressing who I am. And also to accept change. Wherever I am is a temporary. This is a moment. It's temporary. It's not going to last forever. So that's when I'm up here. That's when I'm down there. Change is inevitable. Safety is an illusion.
Wow.
Yeah, I have that mantra: the wheel will turn, the wheel will turn, the wheel will turn.
Yep.
I love that. Turn of the wheel. I find myself saying that a lot too. Thank you, sister.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me is I have to press pause, and sometimes that pressing pause is literally pressing pause on everything, turning off all of my electronic devices, so that I used this example previously. It's like when I'm walking. Have you ever walked in still water or water that's really clear, and you walk and all of your footprints actually cause the soot and the sand to raise up? For me, I have to stop walking long enough so that settles, and then I can see where I was going. And so sometimes that stop walking is to write every single thing that is in my head, regardless of how big or how small it is, on a piece of paper, so that then it's not taking up my brain space.
Right.
And I've recently started. I mean, after I think one of the things that I've done is I took a class. Well, I've been paying attention to my breathing first thing in the morning, and I have a mantra that I do with that, and that came from a laugh and learn I did with sadhana, from integrative healing with sadhana. Just start off immediately paying attention to my breath. So
I just noticed the Gypsy Tramps and Theme thing.
Yeah.
I've been so paying attention to going over here and reading and listening to the two of you that I just totally missed that.
And I wanted to welcome Eternal Cycles of Tarot by Kate. Glad to have you here.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome. And Beth said, happiness is when you think, when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And Jonathan hid somebody that I have already hidden. Thanks, Jonathan. Who was it? Do you see it? I don't see it.
No, I don't have my stuff open to be able to see it.
All right. So
Sorry, dude.
doesn't matter. It just thanks. Yeah. I mean, moon cycles are important for me to work with. Yep. So, breathing. It's amazing. And I'm also thinking I should like do a stretch, like when you see dogs get up after a long nap, they stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was Tarot Destroyer. Tarot Destroyer, I mean, I'm sorry we missed you. Aw.
Oh, is it somebody that tries to dispel magic?
Yeah.
That's their name. It's funny.
Mhm.
It's funny. Pia's Life asks, perhaps you've discussed this, but do you all do shadow work to work through things?
Can I answer?
Go for it.
So with everything that I do, I see the dark and the light. So I don't necessarily focus on shadow practice because shadow is part of everything that I do.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't have an individualized, you know, oh, I'm going to work on this today, because for me, it doesn't work in everything that I see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Two sides to a coin.
Yeah.
Well, and Pia, I also think of it as it's just showing up and doing the work.
Mhm.
I don't want to change its power by calling it one type of work or another.
Well, and not to discredit, because I do have friends that have a very shadow work is a very central part of what they do. It's just not what I do because I do both at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pia said, I haven't done it yet. I just always heard others talk of doing shadow work. And I say, if you can do that work and it's good for you, I think, Maruda, are you doing some shadow work? Not to call you out. But I think there are a lot of people who focus on that, and it's beneficial. I think it's just requires a lot of work. So, oh, by the way, stretching helps to activate the lymphatic system.
Ah, there you go.
So, I like my lymphatic systems.
Mhm.
So, but wow. We have been on for an hour and 3 minutes, which I cannot believe. It has like swished by. Do either of you want to say anything, or what do you do?
Well, I was just going to say, when I shared that, you know, one of the things that I do, you know, is gratitude. It's not all that I do, you know. I mean, there's tarot, there's oracle, there's pendulum, there's meditation, there's sitting with friends of like mind, you know, all of those things.
Yeah. Oh, and Maruda said, I'm learning more about it. Hershey is the one doing it intently. Yes, intensively. Betsy, what other tools do you have, or what are some of your favorite practices?
Nature is huge for me. Being with animals of some sort. For me, there is nothing more important to take me out of a place which I may not be comfortable in, or I may be confused still, or maybe I don't have the question yet. And if I am out in the ocean or out with animals, and especially big animals, livestock to me is like the shizzle. Sorry, I said that. Livestock is really the thing. So hoofed animals. When I am out with animals, that will take me from my world, and I can immerse myself in their world. As a person, empath person, I can immerse myself in their world, and their space is so different from ours, and so at peace that it allows me to step away from whatever and come back to it with fresh eyes. And the ocean is awesome for that because it's a double dose. I get the cute little critters and I get a salt bath. So
nice.
That's incredible.
Cleansing all the way around.
I'm really lucky. Yeah, really lucky.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And I agree. I love that.
Sorry, I just learned that word really isn't a word I should be using, but sometimes it slips out.
I bet I could make a video about that. Today's video is sponsored by this phrase.
I'm sure that must be a Tuck Box Rage song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably was a Tuck Box Rage song, and but it may have been, I think the word livestock was a problem.
And Plucky Heroine said pulling weeds to work off frustration or irritation is very cathartic. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. I used to grow nasturtiums for a business that I was half of at one time. And I used to love to collect the seeds of the different colors and scatter them in different places and watch the bees going in and out with their little pollen pants on. Oh.
Pollen pants.
Yeah, just cute.
Now, that certainly was a Tuck Box Rage song.
Cute.
Yeah.
I get bees out of the water all the time in the ocean. Matter of fact, when I was on vacation a couple of days ago with my sister over on the Big Island, I found a bee in the water. And what do I do now? Oh, there was a kayak guide that was approaching. I go, here, can you take this little guy for me? And he's like, what is it? I said, it's a bee. It just needs a few minutes to dry off. He's like, oh, yeah, it'll just hang out with me. So I do that all the time.
I love that. Jeffrey Smith said, my excitement, etc., is art.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because Plucky said, I pull weeds to work off any frustration or irritations, very cathartic. Candy does that. I'm actually wondering if that's why I didn't do any of my gardening last year, because I wasn't ready to let all of that stuff go.
Sure, it's conceivable.
That's worth the price of admission. Because I think, I do. Having conversations like this is something that's helpful for me. Being able to authentically connect and be okay to have an opinion that is mine and maybe different than somebody else's, and it's a give and take, and it's mutually beneficial. I think, so. Maybe that's why I didn't like to garden last year. I didn't. So.
I'd like to share how my guides how they communicate that kind of thing. Like when you're saying I wasn't ready for whatever, they show it to me as a gathering of information, of collecting everything you need to understand the lesson and get to the point where you can effectively release. So it's not like I was resisting the whatever was coming. It's like a gathering of more that you think you're there, but you're not quite there yet. So it's taking time to gather more. So when you're ready to make a change in the process, you have everything in place.
That makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that approach. Because I believe all things happen at the right time.
Omnia causa funt.
Do what?
Omnia causa funt.
Okay. I thought you were talking about like I'm just running on fumes.
No. That's the Latin of what you just said.
Okay. So, but I think it's, I like that. I'm just gathering experience and knowledge. So my grandmother told my great aunt that if it weren't for gardening, she wouldn't have made it. When I was growing up, that concept fascinated me. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I have a very small balcony garden. This year will be some flowers, some hot peppers for sauce, some dill, and some pickling cucumbers. I love the smell of green. And Vanessa said, I just started working on my reflexology path in my garden again. I stopped for a year after finishing 3 sections. Now I have to finish 4 more sections. That's great. Cool. And So yeah, okay. Wow. Learn Terry's interview with Reverend George that we download excess electrons into the earth. Well, there's the answer. Earth.
You know, I had some witches teach me a long time ago, if you're ever feeling, just go give it to a plant. They grow on what we need to get rid of. Just go touch plants, run your fingers through the house plants.
Yeah. That's cool. I think this has been a wonderful conversation. Everyone, thank you for joining. I'm going to ask the random question, and I'm going to start with Jaime, who's just going to give me a look. Jaime, what do you got coming up on your channel? Okay, Betsy, what do you got coming up on your channel?
I'm spending time with Gerald.
Oh yeah, I have to. Oh, by the way, April Tuesdays are Jaime and Gerald shows.
Yes.
Get ready,
Nice.
people. Yeah, and Pia's agrees with you. You're welcome. And oxygen exchange, Betsy. Yep. Betsy, what do you got coming up? What are you going to do next?
I'm gonna be on Amber's channel on Lavender Moon on the 6th. We're going to show some video of the resident ghost at my work, and not really the resident ghost. This was a visiting ghost at my work. I have some I saw something in the CCTV, and my boss sent me clips of the thing walking around. So I'm going to be on Amber's channel at Lavender Moon for a paranormal hangout soon.
Nice. I am on Sunday. I am a guest on Good Journeys Tarot, and she is finishing up 78 cards in 78 weeks. We're talking about the Knight of Swords. And everybody be sure to join Purple Elephant Deb H and I on Tarot the Stash Way, Ethics of Reading Part 2. And that's on Monday.
If you didn't see the first half of that, go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it'll be linked in the description. And on Tuesday, we have a laugh and learn about Orisha. Jaime and I are hosting Amanat, the creator of this amazing Oracle deck. And I'm excited about this because we're talking about Orisha and what that means. So there will be amazing stuff. And then Tuesday morning, it's Tuesdays with Tarot Stash exclusively on Jane the Secret Tarot. So, and all right. Thank you for joining today. Please hit the thumbs up. Yep. Do that. Bless your.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for letting me be a tramp. That was nice.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be a thief.
I love my life as a gypsy.
Oh, and excuse me. I am backstage crew duties on April 6th. Regina's Tarot and Wirecraft is doing the tarot interviews. And you need to go over there and like and subscribe. So, because it's going to be awesome. Somebody named Sasha, something like that, is going to be interviewed. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Oh.
I was waiting for